problem 718, R.M. Sharpton Corporation, matches up with what we've seen in the goal, and that is, and actually currently, the idea about breaking a bottleneck. And so here we're looking at the theory of constraints. So the question that R.M. Sharpton is concerned about is the engraving department is really holding things up. Now, if they go out and hire another worker, they might be able to break the bottleneck, and it's going to cost them $55,000. So this is something, contractually they'll be able to negotiate and determine this amount. So the amount here that we see is in terms of additional cost as far as this is concerned is $55,000 for the employee, and that would be a fixed amount. So if you consider this a fixed cost. So now, if indeed they're able to produce and sell 7,000 more units, is it worth their while? So in order to do this, in order to analyze this, what we want to do is compare what the increase in contribution margin is to this increase of fixed costs of $55,000. So we're presented some information here. So we have a selling price, which is given to us at $14 per unit. And let me just highlight this range here. And then we have our production costs. So direct materials, direct labor, variable overhead, and fixed overhead. And then as we can highlight these, and up here we have this under the alignment tab, we can shift those over a little bit nicely. I was happy a student showed me that so that I didn't have to spend time trying to remember if I type 2 spaces or 3. So in terms of the amount per unit, we have $2.75 for direct materials, $1 for direct labor, 25 cents for variable overhead, and $4 for fixed overhead. Now, the question that we have to think about here, and so this in their total there, they say this would be, summing these up, it's $14 per unit of fixed cost. I'm sorry, of production costs. So 14 minus 8 would be our price per unit minus our cost of goods sold, which would give us $6. But that's our gross margin. So that's under full costing. So this difference here is gross profit is $14 minus 8, which is $6 per unit of gross profit. Now the question here that we have to think about is, if we produce the 7,000 units, will we incur these costs? Are they actually incremental costs? Well, in the case of direct materials, if we produce 7,000 more units, we will go through $2.75 per unit for each of these. Direct labor, $1 as well. Variable overhead, 25 cents. The question of the fixed overhead, now here we're told it's primarily depreciation of equipment. So now, in the typical measure of depreciation, we do this on the basis of time. Well, whether we produce 7,000 units or not, this cost is not relevant. It's just being what's spread over this number of units. This is a problem time and again that we face when companies try to extrapolate information on the basis of gross profit. And you have, primarily it's more troublesome when we have the issue of having a greater amount of automation or fixed overhead. I mean, notice the fixed overhead is 16 times the variable overhead. I mean, that's a lot of, fixed overhead. And really, this cost here is irrelevant. Let's see if I can spell that right for this decision. So what's relevant here would be our price of 14, and then our direct materials, direct labor, and variable overhead. So when we consider those two, we have, or I'm sorry, those three items here, we have $4 per unit is our relevant cost. So our contribution margin is $10 per unit, 14 minus 4. So now the question is, is it worth our while to do so? So now we compare incremental benefit. So here, that's our CM in total. So our increase in CM, let me try to say it that way. Our increase in contribution margin, which will be $10 per unit multiplied by 7,000 units, or 70,000, with our incremental cost. Well, here, the incremental cost is going back up to our increase in hiring the engraver. So our change in profit then would be 70,000 minus 55, or 15,000. So the financial impact of hiring this extra worker, again, conditional upon that the worker is able to help us break the logjam and increase throughput in terms of units of 7,000 extra units with a contribution margin of $10 a piece, is going to end up increasing our profit by $15,000. So, just again, we can only, when we look at incremental benefit, this is an expectation. We can only make decisions in expectation. We don't know how many units we'll end up having to sell. I'm sorry, how many units we will eventually be able to sell. But if the plan is to sell 7,000 units, this would be one where it would be a case where this would be profitable to hire the engraver and help break through that logjam.